This year, I didn't make a vision board, and honestly, hot take, I think you probably don't need to make one either, especially if you are somebody that keeps basically making the same vision board over and over and over again, and you've barely fulfilled anything on your previous ones. In this video, I'm breaking down when vision boards actually work, why you keep getting stuck in planning, and what you should be focusing on instead. And this is going to include everything from books, systems, habits, to tools, including AI and so much more. So let's get into it. This is not going to be a vision boards are useless type of video, because I've used vision boards in the past, and honestly, visualizing where I want to be is probably a contributing factor to why I am where I am right now. Like, there's a whole cognitive neuroscience about it. I think there are better ways to kick off your new year than cutting up some pictures on Pinterest. You know what I mean? So hey, if you are new here, my name is Desala. I'm a computer science graduate working as a product designer in tech. I run my own business and I make content on here for you guys, sharing my experiences and practical advice on how to live your best life. And I'm gonna show you the behind the scenes and sprinkle a little tech into it, because I'm a tech girl. I'm a tech girly. So I've manifested a lot of the current life that I have right now. Like, you know, I graduated, got a dream job, traveled the world, did the whole business stuff, lost 30 kg. Like, I did the whole shebang, right? And I still have so much more to go, but I do feel like I know a thing or two. And when I started off this journey, there's so many things that I now know that I just wish I knew in the beginning. I want to share that with you guys. So let's get into it. I have been making vision boards since like 2019. When they first worked for me in 2020, my mind was blown. It's like, oh my God, there's so many things that I've done. They're actually really powerful when you're in certain stages of your life. Like, let's say you don't really have any clarity on what you want to do yet. Your goals feel distant, really big, or somewhat very niche, or you're at rock bottom and you are desperate for change. And trust me, I have been there. When you are in survival mode, you need a North Star. You need something that constantly reminds you of where you want to be and that your current situation isn't forever. I would say that, yeah, 2020 and 2023 were my most effective vision board year. In 2023, I was drowning. I don't even think I was a real person at that point. I wrote a letter on Future Me. You guys should really check it out. I think it's a really great tool. But I wrote a letter to myself, and reading it back still breaks my heart, because I needed something. I really needed belief, and I made that vision board with all the belief that I would get to where I need to get to. I'm gonna show you guys my vision board. Hold on. Here she is, a blast from the past. Oh my gosh, this is my thumbnail. Hold on. One thing that's really important to know is that in this vision board, there are pieces of my 2020 vision board inside it as well. More on that later. I want to talk about the artificial urgency behind vision boards, especially during January, and also why dreaming feels really productive. In January, our FYP gets flooded with motivation, testimonies before and after. If I did it, you can do it too. This actually triggers a psychological phenomenon called the fresh start effect. Whilst this can all be inspiring, it subtly convinces us that we need to box our goals into 365 days. This December, and even still now in January, I really felt like I had to redo my vision board because my content's around productivity, right? But instead, I spent Christmas updating my systems, adjusting my calendar, and like just doing a very realistic audit of how this year actually went and what I'm gonna do to improve it, because dreaming for the next year just felt unnecessary. Like, I had to sit there and think to myself, like, we know what we're doing. We're in motion. We're going. We're plunging forward. Why are we cutting up pieces of cardboard again? Like, this isn't the best use of time. It's really important to note that not all goals are meant to sit in a 12-month box. And I feel like we subconsciously know this as well, because people put things on their vision boards like graduation, and then when it actually happens, everyone's like, oh my God, she manifested her graduation and it happened. You graduated because you showed up, you studied, you've been accumulating marks that all contribute to your final grade, and you stayed consistent for 3 or 4 years. If anything, you kind of knew this was gonna happen. That isn't wishful thinking. That is a system at work over the course of many years. And we really need to apply that logic to everything. You'll keep getting dopamine hits from dreaming, mapping things out, rebranding, and especially if you tell people. But the problem here is that your brain isn't getting the same sense of urgency to act. The book, The Science of Self-Discipline, actually talks about this in very good detail. Planning can slowly replace action if you're not careful, and you're gonna get stuck in a loop where the new year is going to start again. It's going to be December, January, and you are making the same vision board over and over and over again. And the thing is, yeah, it looks nice in your room. It's aesthetic. I mean, check me out. You know, I've got some in the background there too. As humans, we underestimate how long something takes to do, and we overestimate our capacity to do it. Most vision boards are filled with ongoing identity goals. These are goals that don't actually have a finishing line. They're about who you are becoming. It's not something that you tick off and you move on, but for some reason we treat it like they are. And also keep in mind that people don't show you your old vision boards. Shout out to when I was talking earlier about my 2023 vision board having parts of my 2021. People will post, you know, this was on my vision board and this is my reality. And then people say, wow, like if they can do it, I can do it too. It's not that you can't. It's just that you don't know how long that took. We only see things when they finally click and we say, oh my God. But the reality, just like with graduation, it's something that takes a bit of time, a bit of time, a bit of time. And then finally, there is a final marker that proves that it came to reality. This delusion creates so much unnecessary pressure around the new year time. Things like your dream body, 6 figures, a booming business, these are not 30-day challenges. They are a result of reshaping your days, your habits, your environments, the way that you talk to yourself. And this is why I swear by systems over goals every time. Whether you realize it or not, your current life is a result of the systems that you've built for yourself consciously or unconsciously, and that's the reality that you live in right now. If you don't like your current situation, it's not necessarily a matter of ambition. It's a matter of doing an audit of your life and optimizing your system. One of my favorite books of all time is Atomic Habits by James Clear. What an absolute classic. This book shifted my mindset in 2023. I had to sit down and read it whilst I was on jury duty. It changed me from being a goals-oriented person that just thinks about, oh my God, I want to do this, I want to do this. And it really shifted my mindset towards thinking in systems. The core idea of this book is that your goals do not determine your outcomes, your systems do. And it is so true. And once you start applying it to your life, you'll realize that this was way bigger than vision board. Goals tell you where you want to go, so your vision boards, right? But systems determine how you're actually going to get there. And that's the part that a lot of people neglect. Your systems will actually really expose who you are, because you are what you do consistently, not what you say you will do, not what you wish you would do. The reality is that not every day goes well. You are not going to have 365 days of perfect discipline and productivity. And that's why it's so important, as James Clear puts it, that you do not fall to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your system. And that's why so many people's vision boards stay the same for years. It's not about your goals, it's actually the fact that your systems are either too weak or they don't even exist yet. Honestly, the biggest change happens when you start designing your life around your laziest, most unmotivated self. Who are you on a basic average day? Who are you when you are tired? Who are you when you are stressed? How do you still move on? Come rain, come shine. This isn't about deleting your whole life and rebranding and starting afresh, because that's unrealistic. I don't believe in that. The small amount of discipline that you have in the short term that you are proud of isn't enough to carry you through the year, and that's why you end up in the same situation that you're in. There are certain things that, because you are so gung-ho and you do it whilst you're motivated, when reality hits, or like, you know, all of the buzz and the lovely fluffy feelings of the new year subside, you actually aren't that person in any way, shape or form, and you just go back to the way that you were before. A good example is around weight loss. So things like, you start the new year, I'm gonna start the year off right, 30-day no sugar challenge. You can't complete it. It doesn't mean that you know you're disciplined around sugar though. If anything, a lot of people finish these diets and they're like, finally, and they just go back to the way they were before, and you felt accomplished because you did it. Maybe you lost some weight as well, but if you keep eating the way that you do normally, you pausing for 30 days and losing weight doesn't mean you're going to keep it off, because you've just gone back to the way that you eat before, because you do have sugar in your diet. What's actually beneficial is consciously reducing the amount of sugar that you have in your normal meals on a day-to-day basis, because over the year, reducing your sugar is going to show more because you incorporated that into your lifestyle. It wasn't a challenge. A lot of people approach things like weight loss as, this is a thing that I have to do for a certain period of time. Yay, I'm happy. And then they just discard it and they just do it again and again. Like people, like what weddings will come, like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna do a fast. I'm just gonna da-da-da-da-da. Make it your life. Why would you always wait for a short period of time to look good when you could look good forever? So let's get into how we're actually gonna make this your real life. There are 4 systems that genuinely work for me, guys. I don't know if I can even put my all into this video because I don't want it to be too long, but let's get into it. So the first thing that works for me is identity-based habits. I talk to myself and about myself like I already identify and align myself with said habit. I don't say like, oh, I want this, but I can't have this because I'm trying to lose weight. I say I don't eat stuff like that because I don't like that type of stuff in my body. I don't eat stuff that's probably not going to agree with me. It's going to take me longer to get to where I want to be, so I don't eat like that. And even if I don't, just identifying myself with that is very beneficial. And at first it definitely does feel like a fake it till you make it, but eventually you just begin to align with stuff like that. Like if you say stuff like, oh, I don't really go to places like that because you're trying to get out of the habits, or I don't really talk to people like that, or stay around blah blah blah, I don't really spend my time doing XYZ. Even if you're not there yet, the more you say it, eventually you just end up being like that. You're not forcing a behavior, you're reinforcing an identity. Another thing that works are small repeatable actions. Like these are things that you can even do on bad days, right? I look at how I behave on a day-to-day basis and I say, what is the smallest version of this habit that still aligns me to my overall goal? I do something that's so small that even though I'm not actually doing the main thing that I want to do, I'm not completely divorcing myself from the habit and allowing a bad habit to now take over or to be reinforced. The biggest thing out of this 4 that I'm sharing with you guys is habit stacking. Habit stacking is adding new habits to things that you already do. So for example, I wanted to start taking collagen more seriously. Told myself I'd take it first thing in the morning, I'd have a glass of water, it's all gonna be great. But I had like some mental blockage where I just wasn't doing that. I was not taking my collagen. Like my collagen would expire, throw it in the bin, expire, throw it in the bin. And I just got weird with myself. I was like, you don't like collagen. So I looked at the habits that I already had and I thought, how am I going to integrate collagen into my day-to-day? Because obviously the mornings aren't working. Because I knew this was an issue, I just paired it to something that I know that I do properly. And that thing is taking pre-workout. I take pre-workout before every single workout without fail. So instead of believing in myself that I can take collagen in the morning, I now take collagen with my pre-workout. So I put my pre-workout in my water bottle and I also add collagen inside. So that means that come rain, come shine, I always get my collagen as long as I've had my pre-workout. And that habit stacking really works for me because now I get my collagen in. Another example is when I wanted to start doing more things after work. And I'm really good at this when I'm working from home, but it's very hard when I worked in the office because after I commute and I get home, I tell myself, yeah, I'm gonna go straight to my desk. I'm just gonna grab. It's not happening. Because as soon as I got home, I'd see my bed and it's kind of like lights out again. So I got realistic and I said, okay, cool. So I identified the issue. The issue is that when you get home after being on your feet all day, of course you want to get into bed. Of course you don't feel motivated to do anything in the last 3-4 hours of your day. So you get home later. I now go to this fancy little members gym, which is like 10 minutes away from my office. And I get my workout in, shower, and then I spend the rest of the day in the co-working space. This pairs the gym with being productive after work, and it helped so much because I can just go home and actually treat my bedroom like a bedroom. And this actually links very nicely to the next point, which is environment design. Environment design is huge. It's about making good habits easier and bad habits harder. An example of this is that I wanted to start taking my vitamins more seriously. So I bought a really small bedside cabinet that has a drawer, and I put my vitamins inside and I put my book on top of it with a bottle of water. And it made the morning so much easier for me because I just have to roll to my side and I have my vitamins, I have a bottle of water. And then it also encourages me to read because my book is right there. Like there's no reason to not read. I get this done first thing in the morning. It improved my morning routine so much. And even with all of these things, you still just need to be real with yourself. Like for example, I said that I wanted to be a morning gym person. And the thing is that I am in summer and spring. But during winter, it's harder. It's dark first thing in the morning and it's cold. And I just said, you know what, babe? The mornings don't work for you. So you are an evening gym person when it's winter. Sometimes I'm not feeling a book. So instead of forcing it, I just won't read the book. I'll just move to a different book because the point is that I want to be a reader. I don't have to force myself to read a book I don't want to. What 100% doesn't work is vague goals, unrealistic expectations, trying to uphold aesthetic routines that you know you don't really care about and trying to change everything all at once. It's not worth it. So manifestation, if you use TikTok or Instagram, you've heard of the saying delulu. You've heard of delulu is the solulu. And the thing is that I agree, you do need to be somewhat delusional if you have very big plans and very big dreams because there's a lot of audacity that's needed to be able to aim for things like this. I think when we talk about things so casually, we begin to underestimate what is actually happening behind the scenes. Somebody can come to you and say, I was just delusional about it and it just happened. There's so much more to it. Personally, I do believe that you need to be so delusional to believe that certain things can happen for you. But it's not because you genuinely are delusional. It's because you have the audacity to believe that. Why not you? If I work hard, if I put myself in certain situations, why not me? So yeah, being delulu doesn't mean that you just think that you can just waltz your way through life and just get anything you want just because you believe in yourself and because you manifested it. It's your audacity to go for the things that you want. For example, you can believe that you're going to land a stupid high paying job. You may not be where you need to be, but you have the delusion and the audacity to still apply anyways. And the thing is, half the time, that's all you need. Because with actual delusion, that would be somebody that has never worked in this field a day in their life, has no idea what is going on, has nothing to prove that they're even trying, and waltzing into a job interview thinking you're going to get it is delusional. That's actually stupid. Thing is, confidence is built on evidence, even if people can see it or not, you know? And not to overthink too much, but I do feel like when we say we're just delulu about everything and that's how we get what we want, I think it minimizes the fact that we're actually very worthy and capable of things. It just may seem crazy to other people, but it doesn't mean that you're just a delusional thinker. You have the capability. And the thing is, with all of this big talk anyways, with delusion and just believing yourself and going after what you want, once you're actually in it and you start making headway, you realize, yeah, no, delusion can't live here, because reality hits you in the face. When you actually start working towards something and you start having evidence-based markers come back at you, you realize how much effort the big picture really requires. I was delusional enough to believe that I could make a 10K month. And when I finally did make a 10K month, my God, the amount of work that was required behind the scenes was insane. And that made me realize, if this is 10K, what does 100K look like? And the craziest part is that the money didn't make me feel rich. It just overemphasized how hard the 100K was gonna be. That's actually a real goal. Talk less with people that are millionaires. Like, it just kind of makes you realize, like, wow, like, so much work goes into these things, past the whole, like, I'm gonna be a millionaire on my vision board. And it's just kind of like, oh, do you actually understand how much work you have to do on a day-to-day basis? It's insane. Same with getting my first 1K followers on TikTok. So I started TikTok a year ago, and my goal was to get to my first 1K followers. And oh my gosh, I was so proud of myself, but it was so difficult. Right now, I think I'm on about 7K, because my North Star and what I want to do with my social media is very different. It requires a lot of effort with a very low reward payback. Seeing how long it took me to get to my current following made me realize, wow, like, if you really want to make headway, it's going to take a lot of effort. Mind you, this is going to be like content for a different day, but with the 7,000 followers that I do have, this contributed to the whole like 10K months, right? That gave me the confidence to believe I just need to keep on going, because if you can do this with the little that you have, you can do a lot with so much more. But my God, is it gonna take effort? Progress removes any rose-tinted glasses you had about your goals. Progress makes you realize that these vision boards are not gonna take just a year. Once you intentionally improve your life by 1%, you begin to ask yourself, so what does 10% look like? Okay, what does 50% look like? Oh my God, what does 100% look like? And that is what's gonna keep you going. And you'll probably end up in a similar situation to me, where the end of the year happens and it's like, everybody's trying to make your new goals again. And it's like, what about what about the other one? But that's why I say that, like, also vision boards are definitely about where you currently are in life. Because I know that eventually, by God's grace, I will fulfill all my other goals, and then it'll be like, okay, so what's next? We've talked about some of my favorite mindsets, habits, and systems. Let's talk about technical tools. This is going to be specific but vague, because I could talk about this forever. AI. So you either love that I said it or you hate that I did, but anyways, let's get into it. It's about working smarter, not harder. It's 2026. What excuses are left? ChatGPT is the people's princess for a reason. A lot of you guys are not maximizing AI as you should. Some of you guys are just using it to turn yourself into a Disney Pixar character, to try a new hairstyle out. Guys, you're thinking small, you need to be thinking big. I use ChatGPT as an assistant, as a co-founder, as a sounding board. You need to, guys, I was ChatGPT's top 1% of Messenger. You see that? The thing with ChatGPT and AI is that it's not doing the work for me. It just helps me think more clearly. It helps me act more intentionally, and it helps me go faster. I use it to do things like break down long-term goals into realistic phases, turn very vague ideas into action, especially weekly actions. It definitely helps a lot with delegation and priority. It reduces overthinking, and it really helps me stress test specific things. Aside from that, ChatGPT has helped me build digital products, optimize my social media. It's helped me with my business. Guys, ChatGPT has made me thousands of pounds in 2025. I wish I was joking. Another AI tool is Notion AI. Notion is basically my productivity platform. It helps me unclog the insane backlog of ideas that I have and all the different tasks that I have in my head, because there's a lot going on all the time. And I'm sure that a lot of you guys can relate. Everything I have is organized in plain text, and the AI tool really does help you optimize where it can. If you have to deal with very big systems, you will find Notion AI very beneficial. When you have a lot of goals that you are trying to do all the time, at the end of the day, you're a human being and you have 24 hours in the day. So you need to get cozy with your calendar. For me, my favorite tool is Google Calendar. I sync it with my Apple Calendar and with my work calendar. My calendar is my reality check. I can have all the dreams and ideas and goals, whatever in the world. Tesla, what does your 24 hours look like? If a goal doesn't fit into my calendar, then it's not a real goal. Like, for example, right now, me talking to you, this whole day was planned out. I said that I'm going to be a content creator. I said that I'm going to grow as a content creator. So therefore, I have to put that into my calendar. I'm not just going to pick up a camera and just say, yeah, I'm just going to become a content creator, especially with the niche that I'm going down. With having multiple calendars, it can be a bit crazy. So just make sure that you sync everything together. If you guys ever want a video on how to sync multiple calendars, then I will let you know, because that is a lifesaver for me. Back to AI, guys. Like, AI helps me decide what actually matters. And I'm able to ask my AI things like, based on my goals, upcoming commitments, the outcomes of that previous day or week, what should my focus be on right now? I can ask it questions like, what are the 3 actions I should be doing right now to push the needle? And it helps, like, it's like a second brain. People say that Notion is your second brain. I say ChatGPT is. But what AI and all the other tools that I've mentioned do not do is solve your issue with procrastination and your issues with avoidance. It's not magically going to make you disciplined. If you are inconsistent now, adding all of these different productivity tools aren't going to change anything. Every day, I just try to be 1% better. I've learned over time that a lot of pressure that we put on ourselves is very unnecessary, and it can be detrimental. Vision boards are great. They help you visualize who you want to become. But guys, the real magic is in the systems. The systems are going to determine who you actually are. Share with me your thoughts and feelings about this in the comments below, and I will catch you guys in the next one.